and welcome back. Today I'm going to teach you how to track your menstrual cycle without any apps or fancy equipment. All you need is a book and a pen and access to the calendar on your phone. Let's do it. If you ever feel like one moment you're on top of the world and you can accomplish anything you set your mind to, and the next you just want to hide under your bed and you feel like you're having a mental breakdown, it's quite possibly due to your menstrual cycle. And this is where cycle tracking comes in. It can not only help with getting pregnant and tracking your fertility, but also your emotions and deepening the connection with yourself. The first thing you're going to do is open your book to a blank page, and we're going to draw out the calendar month. If you don't already know, day 1 of your cycle is the day you start bleeding. Some months your cycle will fall across 2 months, for example, August and September, so you may need to draw out 2 calendar months. I usually freehand my cycle tracker. I just find it so much easier and faster to create each month. It does mean that it's a little bit messy though, so if you're someone who likes something that's really aesthetically pleasing, go ahead and use like beautiful pens and a ruler and stickers and create little drawings, because if this is a book that you love and when you look at it you get lit up and inspired, you're more likely to stick with cycle tracking every single day. After you've filled in the calendar days, you're going to fill in your cycle days, remembering that day 1 of your bleed is day 1 of your cycle. And then we move on to data collection. In this section, I like to track data on my mind, my body, a word for the day, and what is happening with my cycle, so whether I'm bleeding or whether I'm not. You can use this section for whatever you want. You may track your habits or your eating or your temperature or literally anything that you want to collect data on so that you can compare for the following and previous month. So that's the calendar done. Now we're going to move on to a different type of data collection in the form of a graph. You're going to flip over from your calendar onto a blank page, and on one side of the page, you're going to draw up this graph. Once again, I'm freehanding. If you need a ruler, go ahead. On the bottom half of the graph, I just drew days 1 to 28 of my cycle, and on the top side, I've done a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being at the bottom and 10 being at the top. I use this graph to track my mood, my sleep, how my body feels, and my business motivation on a scale from 1 to 10. You can use it to track whatever you want. I love doing this because I can really identify patterns, especially in my sleep. I sleep really well throughout my bleed, but I don't sleep very well throughout my ovulation. And when I identify patterns like these, I can then structure my work and my lifestyle to look after my body and my mind better. I would love to hear in the comments what you're planning on putting in your cycle tracker and what data you're going to collect on yourself. You can use this next section for whatever you want. Sometimes I'll put gratitude in here, sometimes affirmations, sometimes I'll pull a card and use that as guidance throughout the month. This particular cycle, I wanted to continue with my education around each phase of the cycle. So I wrote out the different phases, so bleed, follicular, ovulation, and luteal, and a couple of different facts about each phase and what my body is actually doing throughout each one. Next, you're going to write out days 1 to 28, and every evening you're going to pop into your book and write a couple of keywords or a sentence of how that particular day was. Once again, this is going to help you identify patterns and better prepare for the future. The last thing I keep in my cycle tracker is some information from the book Code Red. Highly recommend if you haven't read this book yet. But what I do is I keep days 1 to 28 in the back of the book and a small description of what to expect in my body and my emotions every single day. I have copied all of this information into a Google Doc, which I've linked below, so make sure you go and grab that so you can have this information on your body and cycle as well. I am all about living and working in alignment with your cycle and your body and what actually matters to you, and this is what my YouTube channel is about. I post a new video every week on YouTube. Sometimes they're vlogs, sometimes it's an informational video like this, sometimes I'm traveling in my house truck, or I'm talking about the ups and downs of self-employment in your mid-20s. If that sounds like your vibe, I would love for you to hang around, and yeah, I would love to hear from where you are in the world. So drop where you are and what your biggest takeaway was from this video. So much love. Bye.